watching Thread Life with Belle. Her live show is starting soon. Quilting, teaching, sewing, making lovely things. Come on and join us. It's almost time for Thread Life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle, with Belle, with Belle. On YouTube starting very soon, so stay tuned, Belle is getting ready for you. Quilting, teaching, sewing, making lovely things. Come on and join us. It's almost time for Thread Life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle. Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life with Belle, starting soon.
Hey quilty friends, happy Saturday. It is Stitchin Saturday with Belle. So this is my fourth live and I'm actually doing a first Stitchin Saturday. So for those of you that maybe new that are popping on or have not been part of this before, I kind of did a poll to figure out what days are best to be on YouTube. And one of them mentioned Saturday afternoon. So some people, maybe you're in your studio and you're working on works in progress. And that's what I'm going to do today. So Stitchin Saturday is all about you grabbing your works in progress or your UFOs and us working on our stuff together. So I invite you on Stitchin Saturdays. They're normally not going to be teaching days. Ever so often they might be. Normally on my other 2 days during the week, Monday and Fridays, I'm showing you how to do something. So yesterday we worked on our pinwheel blocks, which are 2 special blocks in my lovely Pinwheels pattern. And we're making these for Child Abuse Prevention Month, and people are sending me their 2 blocks, and throughout the year I'm stitching those blocks together and donate as community quilts. Now some people are making the full quilt, which is a child size quilt, and that's actually what I'm working on. So I made my 2 blocks yesterday, and I'm actually getting ready to actually work on the rest of the blocks today. There's a total of 12. So Stitchin Saturday. Well, hey, Lori. I bet you got the little alert bell that I was going live. Hey, Susan. Hello from Bremerton. So, Susan, I used to live in Bremerton. I lived on Whidbey Island and then down to Port Townsend, or Port Orchard was Port Orchard. Yeah. So, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining me, ladies, to the first Stitchin Saturday. I don't know if you missed it or not, but Stitchin Saturday is just for us to grab our works in progress, our UFOs, and to work on them together. So I'm going to be live for a couple hours working on my pinwheel blocks that I started yesterday for all of you all and making the community quilt for Child Abuse Prevention Month. So that's what I'm going to be working on today, doing the exact same things I did yesterday, but I'm just inviting you into my space. So I encourage you to grab your UFOs, grab your works in progress, and let's get some stitching done here on Stitchin Saturday. All right? Okay, so Quilt Husband's been with me for a lot of this, and today I'm going to kind of be on my own. In case anything goes wrong, he might come down. But otherwise, it's just me and y'all. All right, well, let's get started. If y'all remember the fabrics that I picked, these were all the fabrics I picked for my pinwheel blocks, and they were from my stash. So I'm working on the child size lovely Pinwheels quilt, and I'm making my blocks. I'm going to see if I can get a lot of these blocks done in 2 hours. I don't know. We'll see. So I'd love for you just to hang out with me, get in your studio space, grab your stuff, and let's stitch together and we can visit. So I've got a monitor to be able to, at my sewing machine, kind of keep track of chat. So if we want to visit a little bit, let's do that. All right, I'm going to start out with my Clay's Choice block. And the Clay's Choice block is this one right here. This is the one that we're going to work on, this pinwheel. So let me raise it up here to the camera so you can see it. And I need to make 5 more of these, and then I've got to make 5 more of these. And then I'll have, yeah, my 12 blocks. So we'll see what I can get done today. Are y'all working, Lori, Susan, are y'all working on anything today? Are you joining me from your sewing space or from somewhere else? Are you just hanging out with me and seeing what I've got going on today? Let's see, my B1, this is my B1 here. And we got to do right sides together. And if you remember from yesterday, we're going to be stitching. I'm going to go ahead and pin all of these at the same time. And I'm going to stitch all of these at the same time so I don't have to do back and forth quite as much. But yeah, grab y'all's stuff, grab your UFOs, and hang out with me for a little while I work on my stuff. So normally, this is what I would be doing on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. I would just be out here in my studio doing this. And I thought, you know what? We'll just do Stitchin Saturdays. I'll go live when I'm out here doing this stuff. And you all can join me if you want. Okay, it looks like, look what I did here. When I cut these up, this is the selvage that's left there. So I'm going to have to recut this one because I don't want that to show. You are in your quilt room, as my 7-year-old grandson calls it, your quilt room. All right, Susan, so what are you working on today, Susan? Anything special? So, like, I'm curious to know, I know I have a TV in here, and sometimes I'll watch YouTube when I am sewing, especially if I'm doing monotonous kind of chain piecing stuff. I'll do that. So I'm assuming, do y'all do that too? If I'm doing something that really takes a lot of thought, I can't have the TV on. I'll listen to ambient noise, like I'll listen to the birds singing or whatever. So I'll do that. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to have to cut some more background fabric is what I'm going to have to do. How did I manage to not cut enough? I don't know. I think I've got extra down here. I do. So we'll use some of that. If it's the right size, we'll pull these up here. Let's see, and what were these? These were 5.5-inch squares. Somehow I did not cut enough of those. I have to cut some more. Let's see here. Background. It says I just needed 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just need 2 more. So I'll cut 2 more. Let's see, Lori, I can't watch TV. Distracting. Yeah, it can be distracting to me too. If I'm working on if I'm chain piecing, it's not a big deal at all to chain piece. But if I'm really needing to think about things, let me get my ruler here. If I'm really needing to think about things deeply, I really can't be watching TV. It throws me way off track. And then I make mistakes, and then I have to start over, and then I get frustrated, and then I don't feel that quilty joy if I'm making mistakes. So trimming, oh, Susan, 1.5-inch HSTs. Oh, those are tiny, 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 tiny. Bless your heart. That's a lot. That is a lot. Okay, let me cut the 5.5-inch background fabric because I accidentally cut the selvage, into the selvage. The selvage was on that one. So that one is not going to work. I don't want that to accidentally show up. So we'll cut the extra background fabric. Yep, exactly. You get distracted too, Lori. Even if Quilt Husband, like if he comes in while I'm out here working on stuff and he starts talking to me, and if I'm in the middle of cutting, I've made mistakes, and he knows, like, I have to literally just stop if it's a serious conversation, because if I'm talking, I'll make mistakes. That's actually partly why you probably won't see me be cutting a lot of my yardage before live, because I'm afraid if I'm talking, I might actually make a lot of mistakes on that one. Okay, so now I'm going to make the, excuse me, I'm getting all this ready for half square triangles. That's what I'm doing. And so we're going to do right sides together, and then, I don't know, do y'all think I can get all of these done by 6? I'm going to be out here till 6. So, and we'll see what new people might pop on. If anybody pops on that's new, introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you. Thread Life with Belle is new. So I just started this channel a week ago, Friday. I say I just started the channel. I've had this channel since 2021. And normally I just post edited videos. And there's a lot of time that goes into that. But all of my patterns, they have tutorials to be able to make all of the blocks. So when someone buys those patterns, they can actually watch me do this. This is what it looks like when I'm doing it, but I have to edit it. And I just got to thinking, you know what? I'm going to start doing lives, especially while I'm out here. Why not? It's like, we can't always be together, but sometimes I think it can be fun to sew with other people, even if it's virtual. All right, I've got all these pinned here. So I'm going to take these over to the sewing machine. And if you remember, I'm going to sew all the way around these 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to cut them, and that's how I'm going to make my half square triangles. Susan, the mystery unity quilt, what's that all about? Tell me about that. I'm not familiar with that. Oh, Modas. Okay. It's a charity, Feeding America. I love that. Yeah, I love that. So are you doing the lovely pinwheels? Are you doing the 2 pinwheel blocks for this charity quilt? I can't remember. I think you popped on yesterday, if I remember. I'm trying to get used to everybody's names. And Lori, I still need to get into my system and see about you applying to be a tester. I'll try to get on that sometime this week. I won't have a pattern that releases probably until, I don't know exactly how it's going to work. So I just started designing fabric for Benartex, and I'm actually we're in the middle of finishing my second collection. My first collection is already off to the mill and everything, and they got the strike offs actually yesterday. And we had to make a few little tweaks on a couple of the prints, and they sent them to me to just kind of double check and make sure with the corrections. And normally what happens is you release quilt patterns when you're designing fabric. Often you'll release a couple of patterns during the time that your fabric releases. So I'm kind of in this holding pattern right now. So I just released Friendship Blooms like a month and a half ago in February. So I don't plan to release another quilt pattern until the new fabric collection comes out, which will come out at Quilt Market. That's when the quilt shops actually get to see it. And then I actually can start sharing photos and stuff about it then. So, Quilt Husband is down in his office. So we each have our own little areas. We have our house that's 30 feet, out the door. And he has his office on one side of the end of the property of the house, and then mine's on the other. So he's like, well, when you do your lives and you don't need me in here for like the teaching days, I'll just log in down from my office and if people like need links for something or, you know, have major questions, he can answer. If I'm too slow, he's going to help from there. He's also kind of there too, because I understand, I don't know, Lori or Susan, if y'all have experienced this or not, but I guess people, there's sometimes, I don't know if they're bots or what, sometimes people call them trolls. They'll just pop in and like put inappropriate links or, you know, say inappropriate things on lives. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want that to happen. So anyway, Quilt Husband's kind of hanging out there just in case anything goofy happens, especially while I'm getting started with this channel. Anyway, back to the patterns. Lori, will I be staying in Houston for the quilt show? Yes, Lori, we will both be there. We got an Airbnb that's like 2 blocks away. It was a whole heck of a lot cheaper than what the hotel will be. They've not opened up the room rates, but I know how it works. And it's super expensive. I need to get my pin cushion. It's really expensive when you're right downtown by the convention center. So we booked, oh goodness, I booked that room probably the Airbnb like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. So yeah, we will be there. And I think we're flying in. I have to be there for schoolhouse. So I'll be there coming in a little bit early to help set up the Benartex booth, because there's a section there where I get to kind of help set up the area for launching my fabric and what we want the backdrop and kind of all of that stuff to look like, as well as props. So he's going with me. He normally does not go with me to shows, but he's going since this is my first fabric collection that'll be coming out. And he's going to take his the handy cam so he can also get content to be able for us to use later. So yeah, and we'll be doing a live actually. He's coming also so he can do a live from 1 or 2 lives from Quilt Market, which will be kind of cool for those that can't go to Quilt Market, because you have to have a shop. You know, or there's a few stipulations to be able to go. It's not open to the public. So anyway, he's going to go and help me and all that good stuff. So that'll be really good. So you're going to be there, Lori? Now, so Lori, do you have a shop? Do you have like a quilt shop? How are you getting to go? What are you have to have like quote, they call it credentials. So you have to have like a legitimate business and a website, or you have to be a designer, or you have to like sell stuff. So do you work for someone in the business, or do you have a shop? But yes, we'll be there. So I guess we'll get to meet in person again. Last time was what, Birthday Bash 2021? Susan, you're using 4 HSTs to make hourglass 4 patches at 2.5 inches. Oh my goodness. 95 inches. This is a huge quilt, Susan. Good for you. You know, I don't love little teeny blocks. I don't know why, but you'll find most of my patterns are larger blocks. They're usually anywhere from 12 to 16 inch blocks. Finished, not unfinished. I think it's because I like to get stuff done and then move on to the next thing, and I don't want it to take forever. But I have a huge appreciation for quilts with little teeny blocks, that's for sure. Lori. Yeah, so Lori, I know you said you watch a lot of lives. You mentioned that to me yesterday. So you see those stupid posts all the time. So is that a pretty common thing where the trolls just kind of pop in and leave inappropriate comments or mean things? Hey, Brenda. Hey, Brenda from Michigan. You were with me. Yes, you were with us yesterday, weren't you? I think it's the same Brenda. You and Lori gave me some awesome tips yesterday. I really appreciate that. Y'all are like YouTube subscriber watcher pros, it sounds like. No, you're not going to Quilt Market, but you'll be there the week after for the show. Okay, Lori. Well, I won't be there for the show. I've been there. I taught at International Quilt Festival 2 years ago, my cathedral window class. But I didn't apply to teach this year. I felt like it was just going to be too much to there for the fabric launch. I need to back up on that. And then also teaching, it was just going to be too much. Lori, have you been to QuiltCon before? I'm curious to know if you've gone to QuiltCon. Brenda, yes, Brenda. Okay, good, I remembered. It'll probably take me a little bit to kind of get used to people, but I'm sure as people regularly show up and stitch with me, I'll get to know y'all better, which will be fun. I'll tell you what's gonna be fun. I have pattern testers. I have like a list of, I think I have probably about 40 on my list, and I usually only need about like maybe 6 people. But my last pattern, I'd have quite a few more than that because I had so many sizes and so many variations. And part of being the tester for me this year is at the very end of the year when it's the slow season for our Airbnb and our quilt retreat center, I'm inviting 10 of my testers that are, well, the priority goes to those that have taken my quilt pattern tester course, which is on my website. It's like $29. And I say it's a course. It's all about pattern testing. I give you resources. I tell you the pros and the cons and all of that. And that came about because people for a number of years had questions about pattern testing, and there was like really no resources. So anyway, I put together this 1-hour workshop. It's got like 10 modules in it, and you can finish it in an hour. So anyway, those people that took that, and then I have something called the Quilt Pattern Tester Hub. And that is $3 a month. And that is for quilters that regularly like test patterns for all kinds of people, not just me. And it's kind of like a support area to be able to ask questions if you run into snags or problems. Or I also post whenever I know of any of my friends that need testers. I'll post in there for you guys as well. So anyway, I have some members in there. So once they took the course, then they joined the hub. And so those folks I'll be inviting, and then some of my pattern testers that were pattern testers before I came up with the workshop in the hub, some of them will be invited. So anyway, I'll be drawing 10 people that will be coming. It's gonna be the first weekend in December here at my retreat center, and it's gonna be free. All you'll have, I think everybody will have to pay like $25 to help cover the cleaning. But other than that, I think it'll be fun. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Susan. Oh, good. You know, Susan, talking about scraps, I have a lot of scraps, and I'm debating. I don't know about y'all. I was going to have like a big stash sale here on YouTube, and I may still, I'm not sure. But then when all this stuff happened with like the tariffs and possibly fabric going up and all that, I thought, oh, maybe I don't want to get rid of some of this stuff. Maybe I should hang on to it rather than sell, because once my fabric collection comes out, I really will only be sewing with Benartex fabrics for the most part. So I have a lot of other stuff that I was thinking of. Plus I need to make space for the bolts that they give me, 1 bolt of each of the prints, and I need to make space for that. But I don't know if fabric gets expensive for a few years until it's manufactured here or whatever gets figured out. I don't know. It's all that craziness out there. I just am not quite sure what to do on that. So it could be good to have scraps, right? And kind of make a dent in all of that. I don't know. Lori, you just finished a pattern. Let's see. I don't think I was asking about your pattern you're testing, Lori. I was asking, who was it? I think it was Susan was making a mystery quilt. That's what I was asking about. Yeah, when you're testing, usually it depends. Mine are usually not secrets. My testers usually, I tell them you can go ahead and post photos, you know, online and stuff, except usually just not the full quilt. I just ask for them to wait to post the photo of the full quilt top, the quilt top. They don't ever have to finish it as far as the backing and all of that stuff. They usually will share, but I think I've only had to do one that needed to be a secret. I can't remember why now it was. It might have been, I think it maybe was when I was releasing a die with AccuQuilt. It's my jewel petal die. Maybe it was that one. I can't remember, but yeah, I think they'll have a great time, Lori, at the tester retreat. But here's what I'm nervous about. So let me ask Brenda and Susan and all y'all that are on here. Well, anybody else, if we've got more people on and you haven't introduced yourself, let me know. Have y'all been to retreats, overnight retreats? And when you go, do you go with your quilt besties, or do you go and meet new friends? Like you're all strangers and you meet new friends. I'm curious about that because the way my retreat center is set up, someone is a retreat coordinator. I mean, is the group coordinator. So say, for example, Lori's like, oh, I'm going to invite my, 5 other friends of mine to go on a retreat together. And y'all all know each other. You know who snores, you know everybody's personalities, you know who can handle perfume, who gets cold, all that stuff. And the way I set up my business model for the retreat center is that a group coordinator contacts me online and I only communicate with that one person. I send them all the waivers, the welcome packets, all the details, and then they send me the check. They collect the money from their friends and they send me the check, and that reserves, those dates for the group. But they all know each other, so I don't have to worry about putting people in certain rooms, finding out about, allergies, all that kind of stuff. So I've contemplated it only because of maybe doing that once or twice a year, but I'm a little leery about it because it's like you don't want people to not have a good time because they don't get along with somebody. So I'm a little nervous about it. Well, so maybe y'all haven't. I don't see anybody typing anything yet. If you've gone to retreats or not with strangers, or you show up and you meet new friends that were strangers. How did that work for y'all if you ever did that? I just feel like it makes me a little bit nervous, but I may. We'll see what happens. So the tester retreat will be kind of like that, Lori. They know each other virtually, but they've not all roomed, in one lodging place before. So we'll see how it goes. That may be the test run, is doing it with the testers. But, they've already got a little bit of camaraderie and kind of trust. They know each other because they've been doing that together. Brenda, no retreats for you. Don't drive. Doesn't allow the extra stuff. Okay, no problem. Yeah, that's understandable. I go to one quilting retreat a year. It's through my guild. And it's at like a camp. It's normally a camp for kids, but during the off season, it's kind of slow. And I like to go once a year. It's either in the spring or in the fall. And I kind of do that just for me, where I'm not like having to film anything and I can just work on something I want to work on, just kind of for me time. And that usually costs me, I think it's $300 for the weekend, which isn't horrible, but I put money back for it. I kind of save up to do that. Let's see, Lori. Susan, you haven't been to a retreat? I'm a lone quilter connected to various YouTube quilting community. I think there's a lot of people that do that because I've been kind of paying attention when I was thinking about doing the lives like this. And I was like, I think there's a lot of lone quilters. We're in our studios or in our sewing rooms, and it's like you kind of want to hang out with somebody, but not. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want to be together, but not. You got your stuff, wherever it needs to be and all of that. So I think it could be kind of fun. So we're giving it a try here and see how it goes. Susan, you're going on a quilting cruise. That's exciting. For your anniversary now, are you taking your husband, he's going to go with you and do his own thing. Happy anniversary coming up next year. I went on my first quilt cruise. I actually was hired to teach. So I was a teacher on a quilt cruise to Alaska in August, right before my hysterectomy. And I had the best time. Those ladies were so much fun. And plus you got to see all this beautiful scenery. It is through Travel Adventures by Michelle. And she did a great job of putting all that on. So I absolutely would do it again. I hope you have a good time. Where are you cruising to, Susan? Where exactly on your quilt cruise? Oh yeah, Brenda, you've got a friend coming to visit with you. You may meet up without online quilter friend. That should be fun. It is fun to meet in person. Like when you've been together online and then you finally get to like meet each other. I was at Road to California. I got to kind of pay attention to make sure I'm cutting the right thing here. I got to make these. And there were several that stopped by. They're like, Belle, I follow you on Instagram or Facebook. And then once I saw their face or got used to their name, I was like, oh my goodness, yes. And it just, I don't know. It's really nice to get and meet in person on occasion. I think we get to know each other better probably this way, online, hanging out. That's why I thought, no pressure on Stitchin Saturdays. That's what we're going to call it. I'll just invite people over, right? Just hang out, we'll talk, and we can all work on our own stuff. That might be fun. We'll see how it goes. I'm still kind of up in the air on Monday nights at 7 Central Standard Time. It's been suggested to just try out different times just to kind of see what happens. So I don't know. We'll see. 8 days to the Caribbean. Oh, have a fabulous time, Susan. That sounds like so much fun. I know, at least from my experience on the quilting cruise, I had a good time. So, and I tell you, you can buy jewelry without paying duty. That was kind of, I didn't realize about all that. Like the stuff you buy on there, you don't have to pay like taxes or duty. That was really nice. So Lori, you're a lone quilter too. So you don't do retreats either, Lori? I'd never done one before till last spring. I've been to 2 now. So I think it was last spring was my first one. And it's through my guild. I actually belong to a guild that's an hour and 45 minutes away, and I don't get to go to it very often. But I do try to go to one of their retreats a year. And I really enjoyed it. I got a lot done. I'll show y'all what I did at this last one. I've been working on these Dresdens. So I don't know. I'm going to do a tutorial on it soon. Let me do the face view. These are double pointed Dresdens here. And it's folded up. This is the flimsy. This is just the quilt top that's folded up. Well, I made all these. I started these like 3 years ago. And I've just slowly been putting them together. And so I needed to finish them when I was, I took them with me to finish them at the retreat center. So here's what they are. And actually there's a secondary pattern. I'm not going to show it to you because I'm probably going to turn this into a pattern. But there's a secondary pattern of the blocks behind the Dresden, the double Dresden. And I like it because you see, you don't have to put a center in them. But anyway, this will probably be a pattern at some point, but I was kind of testing it out. And I took all of these Dresdens, just little bitty pieces here, and I actually sewed them all up at that retreat last spring and made this. And I'm saving this quilt top because I'm getting a long arm that a company is sending me. I'm actually not buying it. And I'm saving that to quilt it when I get my long arm, which I don't know how to use. I've never used a long arm before. So they are actually flying out. They're going to stay at my Airbnb, or my dad's Airbnb, and they're going to train me on how to use the long arm. I have a sit down, which is completely different, of course, than the other one. But, I pay to get my quilts long armed so that the cover quilts are really nice looking, rather than me doing the free motion, which I'm not, amazing at yet. But it gets expensive getting those quilted. And I do some straight line quilting, but it's a time thing for me. Like I don't have as much time to do that. So anyway, we'll see how this goes with the long arm machine. They're supposed to come, I think, the week of June 9th. And y'all know what that means? I have to get rid of my vintage 1970s patchwork quilt, or patchwork couch. I have a patchwork couch. I've never seen one like it. It's vintage. And the upholstery and everything's in excellent condition. I will say the cushions are a bit saggy, so I do have a board like between the springs and the cushions, but I'm gonna have to get rid of it because that is the only place in my studio that long arm is gonna fit. It's gonna be on an 8-foot frame. I didn't wanna get one of those, really big ones. So, okay, let me see what people are saying here. Oh, thanks, y'all. I'm glad you like the double pointed Dresdens. I'm gonna do a tutorial on how to make those. Have y'all ever made double pointed Dresdens? Now, I think those are fun to make with your scraps. Brenda, I think you were using your scraps up for something. I love to use my scraps for stuff like that. And I think it will make it kind of fun. So anyway, okay. You spent $25,000, Lori? Was that the cruise and the stuff that you bought? Oh my. My husband would be like, what? We actually, so earlier on in life, so I'll be 50 in 2 weeks. Earlier on in our 20s, we did not make, we were both married before, so this is our second marriage. We didn't always make the best financial choices, and so we, you know, had the credit card debt and all that stuff early on. And as we got older, we're like, yeah, we don't want to do that again. So we don't have debt now. Like the cars are paid for. They're older. It's like, I think my car's like 8 years old and his truck's like 21 years old. I just don't like that feeling of having to owe on things. And so we don't buy things if we can't, you know, pay for it out of money that we've saved, because it's stressful to me. Thanks, Brenda. I'm excited about the long arm too. I'm really excited. So Butler Robotics, the gentleman there that owns the company, he's an engineer. And so he does all of those robotics for long arms. The robotic equipment is used on a lot of long arms that were not kind of computerized to do edge to edge. So anyway, I got to meet him when I was at Road to California. Just a lovely company. They're like a smaller company, and they do a lot of stuff with Handy Quilter. They do a lot of the robotic stuff on the Handy Quilter stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna have a Handy Quilter, and then the Butler Robotics is on it. They're gonna put on that on there for me, so that'll be good. Okay, I love the long arm. You have a baby lock with the Pro Stitcher light. Okay, so is that like the ruby? So there's like the emerald, the ruby, and the sapphire. Those are the 3 levels they told me about. I was doing some research, and I think they're giving me the one that has, that may be the ruby. It has like 500 different pantographs in it. Brenda, yours is 15 inches, but the big frame is the best I ever did. Your long arm. So it's a 15-inch frame? Your frame is 15 inches? No, I'm sorry, not inches. Your long arm. Oh, the throat. Are you talking about the throat space is 15 inches? No, Susan, I can't use the couch at my retreat center, unfortunately, because literally all the space is taken. I mean, there's no extra space. I mean, I have, if y'all can look on my website, I think maybe Quilt Husband dropped the link in there from his office. There's a video, and it's got like a really long cabinet area that has like 2 pressing stations, and it also has 2 cutting stations there too. And then there's a 3rd pressing station that's on a large ironing board. And then when you've got the tables that are enough for 10 quilters, I could squeeze 12 in, but comfortably 10 is really the sweet spot. There's no room out in the studio. And inside the house, there's really not any room for it there either. I thought of it. And then we have what we call the River House. That is an Airbnb. It's also there on the same property. And it's just kind of like just right down the lane, and it's on the river. It's like riverfront. So that will sleep, if you have everybody having their own bed, that one will sleep 6. And then the new studio that has, or the new Airbnb that has the studio will sleep 6. So I can sleep 12 individual quilters, but the studio itself, really 10 is a comfortable number. So they just kind of would have to work out if I had a larger group. You know, there could be 6 at one house, 4 in the other, or 5 and 5, or just, you know, whatever they wanted to do. But they're rented as Airbnbs when they're not rented as for the quilting retreat stuff. I actually have a group of quilters coming in a few weeks over like Mother's Day weekend. Be their first time to come and try out my space. And so they're coming in. The only sad thing is I'm going to be gone. I'm going to it's a quilt trade show. So it's basically, Lori, it's like Quilt Market, but it's always in the spring. It's in Chicago. It's called H&H Americas, and it's not open to the public. But listen, they just started this year. Basically, they're going to do it just like Quilt Market. You have the market first, and then a few days after is open to the public for like a big show. So you might want to put that on your list if you like to do that. It's called H&H Festival, I believe. But anyway, long story short, I'm going to be gone to that when these ladies come in. And normally, if I'm not traveling or somewhere, I bake a pie and bring a pie that first day to the group there and meet the group coordinator and just kind of go over a few things. But when I'm gone, I have a friend that lives, probably about 10 minutes away. And I went to high school with her daughter, and she's a big-time quilter. And I hire her to make the pie and kind of fill in for me while I'm gone, which is nice. So I won't get to meet any of these ladies. I usually love to go and meet them, and I like to take the group photo and all that fun stuff. And I won't get to do that this time. I think they're staying, most that have come, they do 3 nights. They usually will come in on a Thursday, and I let them check in at 10 in the morning. And then a lot of them then will leave on Sunday, and I let checkout be at noon, just so that if people didn't want to have to pack up all their stuff on Saturday night, they could wait and do it Sunday morning, or they could even sew a little bit in the morning and then pack up and go. But that's kind of how I do it. So hey, y'all tell your friends, because I'm still trying to get the word out on the street about the retreat center. It's on 45 acres, and it's really, really relaxing. There's like bluff top views, and there's like a grocery store 9 miles away, and we do have some little restaurants. We have like a Mexican food restaurant. There's a pizza shack that has amazing pizza. We have like the down home cooking, like the Southern, they call it like the best Southern victuals. It's called the Mount Ida Cafe. So there are some places for those that don't want to cook, but it's got a big kitchen and a huge island, and that way, people can bring their food and all. But I'm able to charge less too, because I'm not feeding people. And honestly, there's no way. We don't have like catering here. Like, people can order out and pick up their food, but I just don't have a way to cater it, nor do I have the time to do that. So the best I can do is make one of my mountain berry pies, and I make my everything from scratch, the crust and all that good stuff. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my cell phone on YouTube, and I'm going to prop it up over here by the pressing station, because I'm not able to read anything y'all might be saying to me while I am over here right now. So let me go grab that really quick and prop this up so I can see and keep visiting with you. There we go. On YouTube, and I'm going to prop it up over there we go. We'll turn the volume down. That way I can see the chat and see what y'all are saying. All right. Okay, now we need to press to the dark side on these. I don't love half square triangles, but they make so many great blocks, don't they? I definitely like my block lock ruler for them. Okay, Lori, you go to quite a few shows per year. That's good. I may have a little bit of a delayed response, because when I'm logged in on my phone to see the chat over here, which I just did, there's a 20-minute lag. Did y'all know that? So I can see real time when I'm looking at the monitor over by my cutting station. I literally can see real time. But when I'm paying attention on my tablet, which is over by my sewing machine, and now on my phone, it's 20 minutes behind. 20 seconds behind. So there's a little bit of a lag on some of y'all's comments. So anyway, I may have totally gotten off track there. I have ADHD, so sometimes I can go down a rabbit hole of topics. This will be my third year to go to H&H Americas. It was kind of small the first time. It's actually yarn and also it's like crochet and knitting and all of those kind of fiber arts. And then they expanded to include quilting. And I guess it's gotten to be all kind of so popular, they're going to have enough people. And since Quilt Market doesn't exist anymore, or Quilt Festival in the spring, like usually I think they would have it like maybe like in Utah and things like that. They don't have it anymore. So I think this is ultimately kind of going to take its place for a spring quilt show. So I don't know, Lori, if you end up going, you might like that. And the weather was lovely. It's always like the first full week in May that's like a Wednesday through a Friday. It's usually Wednesday through Friday for market. And my guess, I'd have to look at the dates on it. My guess is that the festival probably starts on Saturday would be my guess. Now remember, when you press to the dark side, your block lock will be on the light colored fabric. Yes, you know what, Lori, that tip, I told my husband, I was like, oh my gosh, that was like the best tip I've received in a while. So it doesn't matter. Like what if I was using two darks? Like what if I was using a dark blue and like a red? Then how do you decide? You're able to, once you figure out your first cut when you trim it, then you're saying you always know all the rest of your blocks. It would always be either on the red side or the blue side. I'm guessing that's right? You're headed to Paducah. Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. I've been there once, but it always falls at around the end of April. And I love to be here for gardening. I just love it. And usually we love to go camping in April. And so it's hard sometimes to get like full weekends to be able to do that. So we're actually going camping next weekend. And then I think the weekend of the Paducah show, it's our Master Gardener plant sale. So we have a plant sale here. And I'm going to actually help with that Saturday, set up on Friday. And then the plant sale is set up on Friday and the plant sale is on Saturday. That's funny. Quilt husband just chatted in there. He did. So he went with me. My husband's name is Chris, and he went with me. And it was when we'd been cooped up with the pandemic. Oh my goodness. And we just needed to get out, but we didn't want to get sick. I was immunocompromised because I had Lyme disease and was going through treatment at the time. And so I had to be super careful. And we decided we were going to go so I could see the quilt museum there. And he went with me. This was his first exposure to like the outside world of quilting, besides just what I was doing there, at home in my little bedroom studio and what he would see sometimes on YouTube. But to actually go to a quilt museum and see all of these amazing quilts. And there were some modern ones there, which I don't know, quilt husband, you like more of the modern ones, don't you, than the traditional ones, would you say? I think he does. But he enjoyed it. He actually likes quilts. He knows all the jargon, the language, like he understands the language. Yeah, quilting is an art. A quilt is an art. He does. He has such an appreciation for all this. I mean, honestly, my business would not be like it is with this setup, with the video and some of the stuff he helps me with the, he prints my patterns. So he has a printing business and he prints my patterns for me and all of that. It would not be what it is without Quilt Husband, that's for sure. He's like my biggest fan. So I appreciate that so much. Okay, let me see what I missed here in the chat while I was talking. Let me scroll back up. Okay. So you go to Paducah every single year, Lori? Oh, 4 hours isn't bad. For me, I think it's 5.5 from Arkansas. It's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Okay, I'm gonna trim all of these down now. This block takes quite a bit more time. The Clay's Choice block takes quite a bit more time than the Whirlwind does. But that's okay. Oh, your husband's name is Chris too? The only thing he does not do is sew. I bet he holds your quilts for you too, doesn't he? I know mine does. Are you sewing today too, Lori? Are you in your studio sewing? Was Paducah affected with the flooding? You know, Brenda, I saw a post that they said it wasn't. They were still going to have the show. I guess the city did some things to kind of try to help prevent some of that being affected. So as far as I know, I think I saw a post a couple of days ago that it's still on. And I want to say I might have gotten an email too that it was still on. So that's good, because I tell you, all that flooding, we had a lot here. I mean, we had tornadoes. It was bad here in the States. The river at our retreat center, it rose like, I don't know, 25 feet. It was kind of wild. It didn't get up to the basement of the river house. My grandfather was smart enough to make sure that when he built the house, he built it, I want to say Dad said it was like maybe 50 feet up. So yeah. I have to be careful not to cut when I look up to read y'all's comments. He built you a design wall. Nice. That's really sweet. I think it's really sweet when husbands really have an appreciation for what we do, right? It can be an expensive hobby. I mean, I have to say, I have some really wonderful industry companies that I work with, and they do send me a lot of stuff for free. I would not be able to buy all of these things without, like this cutting table, Quilt Husband built for me. It was actually the very first thing that he built that was like a big like carpentry project. He did it, I think it was the 2nd December I was quilting. Not the first, but the second one. So I'd been quilting for maybe a year, and he built it for me because I was cutting on like a kitchen island, like a butcher block island that you can roll. I think that's what I was cutting on, if I remember. And then he was the one that really encouraged me. We talked about the YouTube lives, and he's like, you should do it. So he did a lot of research, and he's the one that set up all this with my little, I don't know if y'all can see my controller box. I don't know if, let's see, can you see it over here? There it is right here in the corner. There's these buttons, and that's actually what I press to be able to change the view, all these different views. Because I know sometimes on YouTube, some people probably don't have the ability to do that. So you've got like your little pressing station right here, and like everything's just right here, or they move the sewing machine right here in front of them. So it's just all right here in this space. And I didn't really want to have to do that, because I didn't want to have to like put everything up and take it all out all the time. This way it's just, I can naturally move between my spaces that I naturally use when I'm in here by myself. So yeah, he did it on the cheap. He did a lot of research. We did not buy expensive camera equipment, believe it or not. And it was kind of confusing for a while. Like, oh my goodness, these people are probably spending thousands of dollars, and I guess you can. But some of it he got used on eBay. He's real resourceful and thrifty, which I appreciate. He doesn't have a lot of boy toys, so we might be in trouble if he did. Because between my quilting and all. Let's see, Lori, you have a rod. Nice. I have a design wall, and it holds, right now, it's the size of a king size piece of batting. It's actually a king size piece of batting. And that's where I actually put up all of my blocks for my quilts on there. And I had a queen sized when we were in the other house before we moved here, and I used a haul in the hallway. I was able to get a queen size up, but here I've got a king size, which makes it nice. Susan, quilting is your therapy and part of my planned semi-retirement. So when do you retire, Susan? You know, I've told myself, I was like, I love quilting so much. And my only regret was only finding it 5 years ago at 45. And I was like, all these years I could have been quilting. I never had children. So, you know, I didn't have babies to raise or anything. My little stepdaughter, now, of course, I've had her. I say I've had her. I've been a part of her life since she was 4, and she's 14 now. But you know, all of that work really, some of the baby work and all, they had already done, her mom and her dad. And then she kind of goes back and forth. She visits us some. But I'm sure when you've got a lot of kids and stuff, you just don't have a lot of time to do this kind of stuff, right? It's a lot harder. I know some mamas that are actually quilt pattern designers with kids, and they do a lot of their stuff during nap time and after hours when the kids have gone to bed. Oh, congratulations, Susan. You're going to retire the end of this year. That's exciting. Do you mind me asking what you do? Oops, got that turned the wrong way. Well, Brenda, you're going to make a design wall. I tell y'all, having a design wall, it really changed things for me. I'm a visual person and a visual learner. And being able to lay those blocks out and not getting them sometimes in the wrong order or confused, or just even laying out to make sure you've got balance with your fabrics, excuse me, that is just really, really helpful to have that. So I encourage you, Brenda, if you can. Mine is on, it's this wire. It's like from Lowe's. And then I've got these little claw clamps that are on there. And I actually have extra claw clamps that hold the batting. And there's extra ones so that what I can do is I can hang my backing up there. That's how I based my quilts. I hang my backing and then I spray it and then hang the batting, spray it, and then hang the quilt top. And it's all that way. So I don't have to get down in the floor anymore like I used to. That was, yeah. Whew. That's hard on your knees to have to do that. Broker, insurance broker. Okay, yeah. Is that stressful? Is that stressful work, Susan? So I'm curious to know, how long have y'all been quilting? And how did you learn? Did your moms teach you, your grandmas? My grandmother, I have 2 grandmothers, they're both gone. The grandmother that lived at the river house, that's the Airbnb now, she had a sewing machine, and she did like mending and things like that, you know, on her clothes and all, but she was not a quilter. My mom sewed beautiful garments. She would make like her business suits and dresses. She was a secretary for several places in town, and she would just make really pretty stuff. But she never taught me like how to sew or anything. I learned, of course, how to use a sewing machine in high school in home economics class. But my other grandma, my dad's mom, Grandma Anna, she was a quilter. But when I would go visit her, we would go stay with her. She lived out of town. We'd go stay with her in the summers. And she did not teach me how to quilt, or she didn't do it in front of me either. I guess maybe if I had asked her. But she hand quilted hers on a big loom, big hoop, like a big square one. I vaguely remember that. But she didn't teach me, which I kind of wished I had learned from her. But I do have a couple things from her. I have her original wood ironing board, all solid wood. And I have a huge bin of all of her buttons. And Quilt Folk, when they came to do a big photo shoot in January, they took some really good photos of that button bin with my hands like in the buttons. It was a really, really fun photo. I'm still waiting for the magazine to get here. They're supposed to be mailed out this week. I have not seen it. They sent me the photos, but I haven't seen or got to read what's in there. Let's see. Okay, Lori, you started in 18. Yeah, that's not that long ago. Oh, yeah, Donna Jordan. Wasn't that so sad when she passed away? I saw the video, and then all of a sudden her husband like breaks in the video and like announces what happened. I watched some of her stuff too. And I didn't watch a ton of Jenny's stuff. I learned from, her name is Melanie Traylor. Well, let me back up. Melanie K. Ham was the first time I came across a video of how to construct a quilt. At the time, I did not know there were such thing as patterns, okay? This was, you know, early on, this was 2020, okay? Early 2020. And, no, was it 20? Yeah, 2020. And I did not understand how quilts were constructed or anything, so I learned from her, excuse me, first. And then I found Melanie Traylor. She's also Southern. She's from Alabama. And she actually, I realized, oh, there's actually patterns you can follow. So I really learned a lot from her too when I was first quilting. Okay, I didn't get this one pressed all the way. I'm gonna have to take this one back to the pressing station and press that one a little more. Let's see, Brenda, you started as a teen. Susan, 2.5 years, Susan. Okay, yeah, so you're a newer quilter too. Back to the pressing station here. Don't y'all hate that whenever you don't press it open all the way? Because then your block is not the right size. There we go. Get that pressed all the way open here. My husband has to remind me, don't forget your hair gets in the way of the camera. I can't lean over very much or it'll get in the way. There we go. Okay. So Lori, you got started seeing the quilt book at an estate sale. Okay, nice. You know, quilts are comforting. They're just so, so comforting. And I had one lady tell me this story when I first started quilting. She was telling me how she'd made a quilt for, it was like a friend or something. And, you know, we know how much time goes into making a quilt, right? They're usually not quick unless they're little or baby quilts. But even then, right? Our time, our love goes in it and all that. And she'd gone over to her house like, I don't know, maybe a year later or something like that. And the lady was using the quilt as a dog bed. The dog had chewed it, peed on it. I mean, it was the dog's bed, this quilt. And she was mortified. Like, what do you say? Like, what would you say if you'd spent all this time making a quilt for someone and they were using it as a dog bed? Ah, man. I mean, whew. That would be tough, I think, for me. Susan, okay, so you're familiar with Melanie's fabrics. Yeah, Melanie has some lovely fabrics. She actually designs her own. Those are all self, she's not with the actual company. She gets all that printed all herself. She's very talented, smart girl. You give everything away that you make. Very nice, Lori. I give some away. I always have to keep my cover quilts because I take them when I do trunk shows at guilds. You know, you have to have those. So some I often will make a second one that we'll have, you know, to keep, or I'll give it away. It just depends like on how much I love it. Yeah, would be hard to deal with if it was used as a dog bed, right? Yep, that would be tough. And I think part of it is they just don't realize always what goes into it. So I rescue orphan blocks and quilts at flea markets and thrift stores, as long as they're not like overly priced. But the orphan blocks have to be hand stitched. I like the vintage, really antique ones that have been hand stitched. I rescue those, and I'll end up using them for like tote bags, turn them into tote bags. Some of them I haven't done anything with, but I just have such an appreciation knowing that they stood there the whole time or sat there and just hand stitched that together. So I rescue those. And then quilts. And I remember I was at a flea market with my little stepdaughter. Oh, it's been probably 3 years ago or more. And I went over to, do y'all do flea markets and flea markets and Goodwill and stuff? Well, anyway, over in the section where the linens are, there was this brand new quilt. I mean, it was still stiff, like it hadn't even been washed, brand new. And on the corner was a little tag, and it was to a girl, and it was a graduation gift for high school, her high school graduation gift from her grandma. And it was donated. Still had the tag on it, like everything that was written on there. I'm making an assumption that it was just donated. I mean, I don't know how else it would have gotten there. Oh, so my bonus daughter and I were both like, oh my gosh, we've got to rescue this. It was $15. I bought it for $15. And then I actually repurposed it. I gave it away. I took the little tag off and that was on there and gave it away. It was just heartbreaking. Yeah. Okay, look at that. We got all of those half square triangles done. What are we doing here? I'm going to get a little drink. And I'm going to lay these out. So I think I showed y'all yesterday. I like to lay everything out and I stack them up on my mat here so that I don't get things out of order, which can be super easy to do for my little brain. We'll just lay them all out here. And I'll just stack them all the way up. Do y'all camp at all? Do any of y'all camp? During the pandemic, we actually bought camping equipment. We were never campers before, and I didn't grow up camping. And buying an RV wasn't an option for us. So my husband did all the research. Am I doing this right? Yeah. That one is not. Nope, that one doesn't go there. See, I have to pay attention. He did all the research and got us camping equipment. And we really, really like it. I call it glamping because we have the cots that are above ground, because I'm like, okay, I can't sleep on the ground at my age anymore. I just can't do it. Like, my sleep's important to me. And so we have the memory foam mattresses on top of the cots. And so we glamp. And then he actually we have one of those great big tents that you can stand up and walk in, and it's got like sections. And we have an air conditioner. He rigged an air conditioner to where we can like put it in the tent and put everything kind of down, and it kind of holds the air in. Yeah. So we don't usually go camping like after like, I'd say mid-July, August. We don't usually camp in July and August because it gets pretty hot here in Arkansas. Susan must be thoroughly organized to, yeah, be peaceful. I'm the same way. I don't like, that's why I've been a little nervous about some of the YouTube lives is, I have to concentrate, and I'm not used to multitasking. I'm not used to talking and then doing all this. But I was like, you know what? I'll just do Stitchin Saturdays some days where I'm just doing some of this and not having to like teach anything. We just sew together. All right, there we go. Make sure that looks right when I look up. Yeah. So now that I've got those laid out, my little brain's like, okay, just put them all down now. Stack them all up. So we've done one. So this is 6 blocks. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do y'all do yours this way when you lay out your blocks? Do you stack them up like this and then take them over? I'm curious to know. You would love glamping. Oh, Susan, it gets a little worse. Okay. I don't consider myself high maintenance. I mean, I was raised here in the country. I rode, motorcycles, and we had, played in the dirt, and I swam in the river and all of that. But I also liked, painting my fingernails and wearing makeup. So I'm going to have to count. 3, 4, 5, 6. Anyway, I told my husband, I was like, there's some things I need. One, I don't want to primitive camp. I need to be able to bathe. Like, I don't want to go, I'm one of those people, I know this may sound weird. Everybody probably has something weird about them that they do. I have to either take a shower or a bath at night, or I cannot sleep. Like, I have to do that before bedtime. I just have to wash the day off. Like, I can't get into my bed dirty, if that makes sense. So anyway, I was like, we can't do primitive camping. That just does not work for me. So we go where there's the plugins, the electricity, and he has, it looks like an ice chest, but it's an electric ice chest. So it's like a freezer and a refrigerator, but it looks like an extra large ice chest, and you plug it in. So we can take all our food. We don't have to do the dumping of the ice, and you change the ice every day and all of that stuff. Like, we don't have to do that. I'm trying to think, what else do we do that's kind of glamping? I usually take my sewing machine or my EPP with me. That's not really glamping. But I would say the air conditioner, the cots, and the electric ice chest for the freezer fridge, that would be it. 3, 4, 5. Now, you know what? I think I put 6 out, and I've already made one block with y'all yesterday. Did I do that? No, there's 5. You're at dinner bingo, Lori? Are you just do you just have me on your phone at dinner bingo? Oh my goodness, how sweet is that you're here? You have a RV that you travel with. Boy, that would be nice. That would be nice for sure. 4, 5 there. Okay, so Laura, you chain stitch yours, you stack it the same way. Brenda, you backpacked and camped. Winter camping stinks. Yeah, it does. So when you backpacked, Brenda, did you just carry everything on your back and just take what you could on your back to go? Is that right? There's 5. 1, 2, 3. I got to count these. 3. 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. And if I counted this right, I'm not going to have extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 2 extra. So that means somewhere when I was talking, I didn't stack this up right. Yes, so I can help with your numbers. Oh, yeah. You're following along. You've got your earbuds in. Lori, that is so sweet of you. Okay, y'all. Lori, she also was somewhere else on Friday, and she's just tuning in to help me with getting my Facebook channel up to monetize. That is so sweet of you. Thank you for doing that. You were young and dumb, Brenda. So you did that in the winter? You backpacked in the winter? 4, 5. I don't like to be cold like that. We've gone a few times. 2, 3. When it was fall and it got down to, I don't know, Quilt Husband. What was it, Quilt Husband? That time we camped and it got pretty cold. Like we were wearing, like, we'd bought warm clothes. It may have been down in the 30s, like 38 or something, and it was cold. But he also got us a heater. So we have a heater in there too that we can now use if we need to. 4, 5. Okay, I counted those correctly. So I'll be honest, I don't love blocks with lots of HSTs. Usually in my patterns now, I do the stitch and flip method. So when I designed this pattern, let's see, I designed this one, I think in 2021, but I think I released it in early 2022. If I did this over, I would do the stitch and flip. So this would be one long rectangle, and then we would just snowball this corner so that we didn't have to sew all these together. Okay, that's how I like to do it now because that method is just faster, and I really didn't know about it at the time. So I was doing everything, quote, the old-fashioned way. So that's my preference now, is to do it that way when I can. So for this one, same thing. This would have been a rectangle. We would have snowballed that corner and done it here. And it's just faster. It's just so much faster to me that way. But I'm not going to reroute this pattern. 2, 3, 4, 5. It was in the 40s, Quilt Husband. Okay, it was in the 40s when we camped, and that's how cold. That's the coldest it's been when we've camped. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now somehow I did it again. I ended up with 2 extra. There they are. They go right there. Counting and talking. A little hard to do. Okay. One of these stacks is short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see which one is. It's this one. It's those two. Go there. All right. Got it all together. I'm just going to pick this whole thing up, carry it over to my sewing machine, and do that. Back in the day, you were all about tent camping. You turned 60. Now a glamper, not a camper. Well, it's funny. When we got all of the camping stuff, I guess it's been 4 years ago about that we got it. Everyone said, oh, Belle, no, just go ahead and get the camper. Just get a camper. You're not going to want to, and when you get older, tearing all that stuff down and putting it all, you're not going to be able to do it. I was like, but I don't want to spend whatever it is, $20,000 or $30,000 on for just a basic camper. Oh my gosh. And the thing about it is, we usually only have time as far as having, enough free time to do it, to really do it 2 to 3 times a year. And so I just was like, I don't know about spending the money on that. So we didn't. I think we spent maybe $3,000 on everything for all of the camping equipment. That's what we did. You took your son 2 weeks old and you went tent camping. Oh, wow. Yeah, I have some friends. They take their babies. They're like, yeah, brand new. We'll just get them out there and just start then. Oh, Brenda, you know what? I didn't put my dual feed down. Did I? It was so funny. I was laughing at myself. I was out here piecing backing for a Friendship Blooms quilt. I was like, you know what? You don't have your dual feeds down. Brenda would be reminding you. I'm still not used to using it. This sewing machine is kind of fancy compared to my industrial straight stitch, which I love, but I'm still getting used to these features. It is a little bit louder, I noticed, though, when the dual feed's down. But I think it helps Linda with or Brendan, with that not pulling the fabric down like it was doing the other day. Okay, we'll put those there. Your coach cost $70,000. Wow. Yeah, that's like buying a house here in rural Arkansas that's maybe needs some work to it. It's about what you would pay. Although I have to say, when I came back here, I was shocked at the houses. I mean, where I live, it's relatively still cheap, but the prices just went up so much, I think. And really, they didn't need to. I think it was some price gouging that went on. But anyway, it is what it is. It's still cheaper than where we were living before. It's like $1,000 cheaper a month to live here. Everything's just kind of slower and simpler too. And you know, I couldn't wait to leave when I was a teenager, 18. I was ready to go and see the world, and I did. I lived in a lot of different places. But the older I got, it's like, oh, I just want to be back kind of where it all started. And again, it was cost of living. It was just one of those things. It's like we need to go where the cost of living is cheaper too. So that's funny, Brenda. You weren't going to say anything. So did you notice I didn't have my dual feed down too, and you weren't going to say anything this time? I don't mind. I'm all about feedback as long as people are nice about it. That really doesn't bother me. What I don't like is sometimes, it doesn't happen very often, but every so often on I'm heavy on Instagram. That's where really my business kind of started there on Instagram. And every so often I could probably say the whole time I've been doing social media, I maybe have had 3 mean people. And I have a very strict, no bullying, no hate policy. So anytime someone leaves something mean or hateful, whether it's to me or, what did I do here? Me or someone else, I immediately delete and block. I don't even engage in a conversation or a retort or anything. It's just, I don't want kind of that negativity or meanness living on there. But as far as like feedback and tips and stuff, I'm all about that because I'm always still learning. I think we always learn. I call myself a forever learner. I definitely do not believe I'm going to get all these blocks done today, but I'll make a dent in it. So do y'all usually sew on Saturdays, Saturday afternoons, or Sundays? Saturdays or Sundays? Did my needle just come unthread? No, I guess not. Yeah, it did. It came unthread. Or something. Let's see. Oh, Lori, your camper was $70,000 and it was a used one. How much do those things cost brand new? Whew. Well, I mean, I guess if you use it a lot, right? No, it's not. It's unthreaded. Good grief. Get the thread there. What kind of thread do y'all use? Do you have like a preference for brand or weight of thread for piecing? You sew every single day. That's great, Lori. I can go about 2 days without sewing, and there's some days I have to do that because I have another business that really is, I'd say pays more of the bills, but I get cranky if I don't sew after 2 days. It's kind of strange. Maybe y'all feel that way too, but I can go for about that long. And like if I'm traveling, you know, we can't usually take our machines with us. Like if you're flying, it's not conducive to do that. I'll take my English paper piecing and stitch, which that's what I'm going to show Monday night, is how to cut your papers with using leave-in stabilizer for English paper piecing. Orphan 50 weight. That's what I'm using today, is Orphan 50 weight, but I actually prefer to stitch with 80 weight. And here's why. I'm just out. I need to get some more. I find that because it's thinner, my seams lay flatter. It doesn't take up as much fabric because the thread is thinner. And I use an 80 weight, a cottonized polyester, so it's super strong. You would think, oh, if it's thin, it's not strong. It really is. So I use it in the bobbin and in the top. And I actually prefer to do that, but I'm out of it in the color that I need, so I need to get some more, but I do like 80 weight. Brenda, you sew whenever you want, you live alone. That's nice. You don't have really any obligations then, do you, Brenda? Just kind of sleep when you want, eat when you want, sew with you want. Do y'all have pets? Laura, you use 50 weight too? Daily quilting is the best practice for me. Yeah. I wish, honestly, sometimes I wish I was retired so I could just do it for fun all the time. But anyway, I may not have finished that thought, but I have, move these out of the way. With my other business, when I get consulting work, I'm on Zoom, either, you know, half a day or a full day, and then I have the PowerPoints and all of the work that goes into preparing for those trainings when I work with nonprofits. And lots of times it's virtual, you know, so I'm at the computer, which it's hard sometimes to be at the computer that long. So it's nice when I can like stitch, but sometimes I'm kind of mentally exhausted, so I don't really feel like sewing because I'm tired. So it'll just kind of depend. I might not get to sew for a day or two. And we're in gardening season, so I'm learning a lot about flowers, and I've been growing seeds inside and all that stuff. So I've gotten to where I try not to be gone some during this time. So my plan is to sew today until 6 my time. So it's about another 35 minutes. Now, are y'all late night sewers? Are you early morning sewers? I'm not a morning sewer, ever. You won't see me out here stitching before 11 a.m. Just doesn't. I wish I was a morning person. I tell you, my dad, he's always been a morning person. I was like, oh, how great is that? He'll just get up, drink his coffee, he'll sit outside on the swing, and he gets a lot done. But my body and my brain just, I don't know. They don't do well in the morning. But I'm also not really a late night sewer, usually, unless I've got some deadlines. I just say I'm the middle of a day sewer. I'm the middle of a day, afternoon kind of sewer. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, Brenda has chicken and dogs. And you take care of your best friend, Brenda? She's 90. You take care of her and her husband? Oh, that's really sweet of you. What a generous soul you are to do that. I guess what, do they not have kids, or they don't have kids that live close by maybe? That's really sweet. And yeah, the garden is calling. Well, so for example, Tuesday I did not do any quilting at all. So I had the Master Gardener. I went through the Master Gardener virtual training. It was like 9 weeks, but it was when I was recovering from my hysterectomy. So I was kind of laid up for a while and couldn't lift anything, couldn't do housework, couldn't cook. Like my husband did all of it. And so I decided, you know, I really want to learn about plants and trees and all of that, like the right way, and not like trial by error of killing things. So I took this course, and you got to complete it by a certain time. I had to have it, I think, finished by December 9th. And then I started going to the meetings in January, and you're assigned a mentor. So I have a mentor, and on, let's see, what day was it? Tuesday, we met at the nursing home, and there's a garden bed there so that the elderly ones can go outside and get fresh air, but they could sit in this really pretty garden. So while I'm there, my mentor also is like teaching me and talking to me about like maintaining certain flowers and how to prune them and all of that. And they sent me home with things we needed to kind of go through and take some things out. So they sent me home, excuse me, with monkey grass that blooms these cute little purple flowers. And so I spent about 2 hours after I got home planting the monkey grass. And there was also some, like, it's in the succulent family that's like ground cover, and I forget what she called it. But I planted quite a bit of that, and they're supposed to be really hardy and hard for me to kill. So I spent all day Tuesday until probably about 4 o'clock out there doing yard work. So I didn't sew, and actually I felt good. I was totally fine with it. Totally fine with it. So your sweet spot is afternoon sewing. Lori, you start at 6 a.m. and you sew till 6 p.m. like pretty much every single day. Do you sew sitting, or do you stand? Do you take breaks? I know sometimes I'll get sore. My other sewing table, I have arrow sewing tables, and my other one that my Juki's in, if y'all have seen it, it's motorized also, but it will raise, and so sometimes I'll piece standing. But that's why I like getting up to my different sewing stations, because I start to hurt a little while if I've been sitting too long. Lori has a brown thumb. Okay, so I kind of have a brown thumb too, and that's why I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this Master Gardener class and learn. Like, and the book, you should see the book. I have this, I'm going to show it to you. Let me grab it. I have this huge book here. And do I have everything memorized that I learned? No, I do not. This is it. So this is the Master Gardener handbook right here. Look how thick this is. So this is what we had to use for the class. Now, we didn't, of course, have to read all of it, but we did have to read, quite a bit of it. But this was the book that came with it. It was a lot. But I can refer back to it when I need to and I have questions. So, which is nice. But my mom, I remember growing up, my mom, she loved flowers and gardening. She did a lot of it. And my dad did too. So I think probably part of that, the love for it comes from them. But finally, it's taken me to be almost 50 to learn like how to do all of it, or starting to learn how to do all of it. So Brenda, you do canning. So you do fruits and vegetables or just vegetables? Oh, that's nice, Laura. You do your Bible reading then? I have something called It's a Daily Text. And my husband and I actually read a scripture in the morning when we're drinking our coffee. It is a nice way to start the day. I know some people like to read or do devotionals or whatever. Yeah, 5 a.m. That's not me. I'm still sound asleep at 5 a.m. I'd say I probably wake up, between 7:30 and 8. Ooh. That doesn't sound good. Let's see what's going on there. I'd say I probably get up between 7:30 and 8. It's kind of wild. So it used to not be that way. Before I had my hysterectomy, oh boy, that's way down in there. Okay, y'all are gonna get to watch me take this plate off and see what it looks like down here. Before my hysterectomy, I was severely anemic. I dealt with this for, 9 years. And I didn't know it, but I had really a lot of fibroids and stuff. And so I was sick. Like, I didn't have a lot of energy a lot. And after my surgery and they took everything out, I have a lot more energy. and I wake up earlier. I could easily sleep. Like if I didn't set my alarm, like on the weekend or whatever, I could just sleep and sleep and sleep. And so it was a really good thing to have that done. But what's not been fun is being thrown into menopause and the weight gain. That has not been fun. I'm like, what is this tire thing around my stomach that wasn't there before that's all of a sudden there? No screws, Brenda. Yeah. So Brenda, this, I don't know, is this the one you're wanting? I know you said it was Juki's on your list. This machine I got from Sewing Machines Plus. It's on sale. I think it's on sale right now for like $4,300, but it's got 2 plates. So let me see if y'all can see this here. It comes with 2 plates. So this is the regular plate. I call it the jelly bean. This is what you put on when you're going to do decorative stitches or zigzag or whatever. And so it just snaps on. And it's got the electric button holder, so this plugs into the side. I haven't used it yet because I don't really sew garments, but I need to because I just need to learn how to use it. And it's got all of these feet in here. And it's got separate feed dogs. So these feed dogs go with this plate here. And then the straight stitch plate sews like, so basically having this straight stitch plate and the feed dogs that go with it, it's like sewing on your straight stitch Juki, basically, is what it is. So had I not bought the other one, this would have been like a good one to buy to have the luxury of straight stitch and, you know, the decorative embroidery stitches and all that. So anyway, it comes with this and it's got all kinds of feet in it, and I have extra bobbin, but it's just got this little key, and you just pop it right here and flip it up and twist it, and the whole thing pops off. And then when you put it on, you just kind of press it down really hard and you're good to go. So I really, really am liking it. And you can't see the screen over here. I'll have to show it to y'all another time. I'm not going to move the camera out of the way because then I might not be able to get it focused back really well. But I'll be doing a feature on the machine after I've used it for a little bit longer for Sewing Machines Plus. That's who sent it to me. And they're really, really sweet. He always has good deals on stuff. Blaine. Now, if y'all love watching, okay, let me tell y'all, if y'all love watching YouTube lives while you sew, are y'all familiar with SMP, Sewing Machines Plus? It is basically QVC for quilters. And I was watching it before I even really got connected with them. And Blaine's actually from Arkansas. Their staff is so sweet, and they have Quilt Fest. They have like a Takeover Tuesdays where someone will basically instruct and you can learn. So yeah, you guys should try follow SMP. Why is that doing that? You know what they say, if it's still doing it, rethread the machine. SMP, you should follow them and see what you think of some of their live shows. They have a lot of fun stuff there for sure. I usually do, so I have a King Quilter. It's a sit-down long arm for free motion quilting. And I got it maybe a year and a half ago. And so I'll do some of the demos with that machine. Anyway, this one I just got like, I don't know, maybe over a month ago. And once I get really acclimated with it, I'll probably do some demos so people can see like all the features of it and how it works. Yeah, okay, Laura, you watch it. I know he has the best deals. I mean, I don't have my local, I don't have a local Juki dealer. I have to, I think, go to Oklahoma or Missouri. There's a Baby Lock dealer about an hour and 15 minutes away. But for Juki, I don't. So I don't mind getting mine online, even though I don't have the dealer to go into, like the store. They're just wonderful. Like, they'll get on FaceTime with you if you need or anything like that, if you need help with anything. And his deals are, I mean, they're super amazing. He sent me, so at the retreat center, he sent 10 of those big, thick mats like this so that when people bring their sewing machines, they can just set their machine on top of the mats and make it, you know, where it's really nice and there's no vibration or anything. Okay, let's put the dual feet on. All right, let's give this a try now. Anyway, he's just really a nice guy, and all the staff there, they're wonderful. So, Yeah, if y'all don't follow him, you might want to give him a try. Oh, you got your long arm and your serger from Blaine? Okay. Brenda, is that how you found me? Was on any of the lives? I was on Quilt Fest in I think I was on 3 different days. I did an educational session on my Friendship Blooms on how to make that block one day. And then I did my sit down long arm. But yeah, he's got some good stuff. Okay, Laura, you watch it too. Yeah, right? It's got some great deals. Great deals for sure. So anyway, I do like not having screws. I feel like I'm sewing with a Mercedes or something here. I did quite a bit of research, I have to say though. I love Juki's. I drive a Toyota, and just Japanese made stuff is just, I've never had any problem. It's just good quality. And I loved my other one. And my other Juki, the semi-industrial, is all metal. It's just, everything is metal, and I love it. And it's silver. So when I saw this one come out that was silver, I was like, okay, that machine needs a big sister. So this is the big sister to the TL that I have. How many sewing machines do y'all have? I used to not understand that. When I first started quilting, I did not understand how anyone would have more than one machine. Now I see how that can change easily. Yeah, we are. Quilt Husband wrote, we're excited to share our new broadcast. So I think Blaine's going to be excited. All of this here now is a new setup. So when I do some classes and stuff with Blaine, or I need to switch screens, we now have this new setup rather than Chris, my husband, normally would have the pocket. It's called the pocket. It's a camera. And he just kind of carries it around and follows me, you know, around the machine when I'm doing stuff. So I think this will be a lot better. So we did it for a couple reasons. One, I wanted to do YouTube lives, but we also knew it would probably make it better for Blaine and when I do stuff for him. Yes, it's okay, Brenda. So we met on Quilt Fest then. Okay, well, great. Well, I'm so glad you came over to my channel. I don't know how long it's going to take to, I don't even know how many people are on here right now. Is it 11? I think it shows maybe 11. I have one friend that does lives. She does it every day at 7 in the morning with her coffee. And she has like 8 to 900 people every morning. Like, I've gotten on there to watch just to see 8 to 900 people that join her every morning for coffee. And they do all kinds of different things together. It's not, you know, she's not always instructing on something. She might be showing them something she's doing or whatever, but yeah, she's been doing it for a while and she's got some loyal followers. No Juki dealer near you, local brother. You want the dual feed, yeah. So I know that is an important thing, is the dual feed for a lot of people. I've never had one before. This is my first time, and I can tell you when I have it engaged, it's wonderful. Like, I didn't know what life was with, you know, all I knew was what I had before. But when I do have it on, it's just really, really nice. So I don't blame you. If you sew all the time, you really want to have a machine that you're going to love and, you know, does all the things. I remember when the new, I've never sewn with a Bernina before, ever. I know a lot of people like Berninas. I've not sewn with them. But I think they had like a new one that came out that's like a sewing embroidery combo. I forget what it's called. But a lot of people were really liking. Okay, Susan has 3 machines. Use the Bernadette. Okay. Yeah. I have these 2 Jukis. And I gotta make sure I'm sewing those the right way. These 2 Jukis, and I have a featherweight my husband found for me on Facebook Market, I think. I think we paid $200 for that one. And then I have a Baby Lock Sashiko. So y'all are gonna see me do, I'm not doing them yet, but I'll be doing lives on my Baby Lock Sasha Co. People are fascinated by this machine. Anytime I ever do a reel on Instagram, like, I mean, I'll get over 100,000 sometimes views and likes and all that stuff on it. And it is a fascinating machine because it replicates a hand stitch. Well, I sold some jewelry back during the pandemic that I didn't wear very often, and I bought it. And I got a good deal on it. So I only paid $1,600. And a lot of people, from what I understand, will pay more closer to $2,500. Oh, it came unthreaded. Will pay closer to $2,500 for it. And I had them do a price match. So I found a brand new one in Kansas. It was on Facebook Market, brand new in box, and she was selling it for $1,600. And then my local Baby Lock dealer, I think they were really wanting to sell sewing machines. It was brand new into the pandemic, and I think they wanted to move it. So they're like, you know what, we'll sell it to you for the same price. So I got it for $1,600, which was a steal of a deal. And, you know, I knew that I was going to use it. I was like, you know what, I'm going to use this. And so I do. I use it regularly because it only does one stitch. And so you have to be like using it, or it's just going to not be used and it, you know, kind of be a waste. So I'm going to start doing some YouTube lives on that machine once we're kind of for sure on all of the views and everything with this stuff. So yeah, the Burnett, a sister division of Bernina, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I felt kind of bad, you know, because I'm with Bennertex and they're a division of Bernina. And I felt bad. I'm like, ooh, I don't sew on a Bernina, but that's okay. It didn't really matter. And let's see. Okay, and then I have a Janome. It's a little Janome 4120 QDC is what it's called. And that's my travel teaching one. So that stays in like a rolly bag. And I take that one if I go to guilds to teach any of my classes, which are basically, they're connected to my patterns, some of my patterns. I do English paper piecing too, but the others are connected to some of my patterns. Anyway, I take that one for that, or if I'm going to a retreat, I'll take that. And then lastly, last May, I got a Brother S600. It's their basic entry-level embroidery machine. And my friend that I was telling you about that helps me with the retreat center when I'm gone, it was her daughter's, and her daughter still had it in the box, and I think maybe used it once or twice. And they sold that to me for $200, and it's normally like a $900 machine. So I got that because I wanted to be able to make my quilt labels. Normally, I kind of have a process. I have a download and tutorial on it. I normally would make my own labels using like a permanent fabric marker, and they're triangle shaped, and I use a light box and all of that. But I was like, you know, I really would like an embroider to embroider the labels. So I got it for that purpose only. And I only can do 4x4. Like I can't do any larger than that for the embroidery. Okay. I'm gonna grab a drink of water here. Whew. Do y'all put beverages close to your machine or no? I know some people are not comfortable with that because it might spill. I do have a cup holder. It's over here. I don't know if you've seen this. It's like the gypsy quilt holder, and it like clamps to your table. And actually you can put like a scrap bag. There's a scrap bag that can go on here if you want, but I will keep my water there. I have to try to drink half my weight in water. I'm trying to lose some of this weight from surgery and my menopause. Okay. You're all good, Bill. Oh, okay. Pat sews on a Baby Lock Solaris. Okay. Well, good. Yeah, I mean, no, it wasn't like a deal breaker or anything like that, but I just was like, I love my Jukies. I'm not willing to give it up. I mean, if they sent me a machine, I don't think I would use it because I just got this one, right? And I'm used to it and just really like it. I'm sure Beninas are good. They're Swiss machines, but that's good to know. Thanks for telling me that, Brenda, that, was it, or Susan? Susan mentioned it. Who mentioned that? Yeah, it was Susan, that Pat Sloan uses that. So do any of you have kids or grandkids, and do they quilt at all? Okay, so do all y'all sew on Baby Lock? Lori does. Dr. Pepper. Pink mini fridge on the floor. I have a little mini fridge too. Mine's white, and I don't have anything in there right now, but I did have these little like teas, like little peach teas, and they're like seltzer water things. But they had some kind of artificial ingredient in it, and I found that I didn't feel so great after drinking them, so I need to put some other stuff in there. We've been drinking some really good flavored water that's like all natural. That's been pretty good. Okay, make sure I got that right. I was going to I'm supposed to take flyers from the Master Gardener group. There are plant sale flyers and hang them in some of the stores not too far from me, close to me. But I decided to do it Monday. So a cool thing happened today. We have there's a leak somewhere in our roof. Like we just had a new roof put on. There's like this little leak. And we figured out it's probably coming from the shower head. And we noticed that the ceiling was starting to get like this brown stain. So anyway, lo and behold, the man that built our underground house, so it's a mid-century modern Frank Lloyd Wright inspired underground home, okay? It was built in 1984. And he still lives here. And he and his wife came over. We found them. And they came over this afternoon before I started the live and was trying to help us. He was trying to remember where the plumbing up that wall was. And so that ended up taking a little bit longer than I thought, so I didn't go hang the plant flyers. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and start the live. I think I had planned on starting the live a little sooner, but we had to deal with that. So that's what I chose to do today. So tell me, I'm curious to know, because it sounds like Susan and Brenda and Lori, all three of y'all watch YouTube lives a lot. Tell me like what y'all like and don't like, just your preferences with YouTube lives. I'm curious to know because I'm still kind of in the learning phase with all that. What are some of the things that you like and don't like? Yeah, the underground houses are kind of cool. They stay, the heating and the cooling is really nice because it's all glass windows in the front. So our underground is underground in the back and then on the sides. And then the front is not. The roof is you can still see the roof. Like you can see the roof, but it's almost to the ground. On the back, it goes down to the ground. Okay, it's tilted, it's slanted. And it's really nice. It's almost like having solar with the heat and air, but it's really easy to clean. It's small. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We actually sold half our stuff when we moved here. We had like 4 bedrooms and 2-bath, and we simplified when we moved here. And my husband still feels like he's on vacation, he says, because we're out here on 3 acres kind of in the woods, which is nice. We do have fiber. We are on a, you know, there is a main highway out here, so thankfully we have fiber to be able to like do the lives and stuff. All right. Okay, we got about 8 minutes, friends. You know, I've got, oh man, I've only got 4 more rows to do, but I don't know if I'm going to get those done. I got a big dent in this. My plan, I'm going to have this quilt finished by the end of April so I can donate it. So this is my lovely Pinwheels to donate to the local advocacy center, which my local advocacy center is about 35 miles away. And the guilds there, they donate quilts there. So, and this one I will quilt myself. I'll probably just do straight line stitching on this one. Well, you know, and you think about too with kiddos, especially since I don't have my long arm yet, you hate to put a lot of intricate quilting on it if it's going to be washed and washed and washed a lot, and you know, they may outgrow it, or stains and all that kind of stuff. Okay, let me see. So, what you don't care for. When a host just rattles on about nothing and you just really want them to get the show started. Okay, so I was kind of wondering if I rattled too much yesterday. I felt like I had to talk about the lovely Pinwheels and the cause and all of that at first. And I looked back to see about how long it was, and it was like 10 minutes. But I kind of felt like I had to do that. Today I really didn't do a lot, but also I wasn't really teaching anything. This is all about just kind of hanging out and sewing together. Susan, to a wonderful start, authentic. My voice is pleasant to listen to. Oh, thank you, Susan. You know, my husband tells me that, but I feel like it's annoying. It kind of irritates me. So I've wondered if it's too like high pitched, or I don't know. So I'm glad you said that. And then sometimes I'm like, do I talk too fast? And then I'm like, am I talking too much? But it's like, do you just like to sit and watch someone sew on YouTube Lives? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can do silence, but I feel like talking is, you know, to kind of interact with people, and us talk back and forth is the way to go. But I guess I'll find out with my viewers, right, how the numbers go, and you kind of watch and see who signs off, and if you drop people all the time, we'll have to see. 10 minutes isn't bad. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for y'all's feedback. This month is a lot about trial and error and seeing how it goes. Does Pat do lives? Pat Sloan? I've watched a few of her tutorials, but I can't remember if she does lives or not. There's a lot of us quilt pattern designers, we're in a private Facebook group for designers where we talk business. And I know Pat's in there, but I don't remember her talking about if she does a live show or not. I feel the same way about mine, Belle. Your cadence is perfect. Okay, good. And the view, we changed up the view. So we changed the view now where over here in the corner, you can see behind them, like what's going on over here. I think we were zoomed in too close on the rope bowl, which we tried it out before we went live, and I felt like I needed to be zoomed in so you could see like the zigzag stitches. But the camera kept wanting to focus on this hand, and I looked at it, I was like, oh boy. And then I was echoing for like a minute and a half because we forgot to turn off one feature. And I did it again. Look at that. Okay, do y'all want to tell me why this knot happens like this? My dual feed is on. This happens every so often. It doesn't happen on my straight stitch. Like I never have anything like that, but these kind of things happen on computerized machines, I find more often. But I feel like I'm doing something wrong here. Then it happens sometimes, and I'm not really sure why. My dual feed's on correctly. And I've got the straight stitch on so that the fabric doesn't, you know, it doesn't pull it down. So I'm not sure. I don't like to use leaders and enders. Yeah, I don't know, you can't hear that. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Okay, let's see. When they keep saying hi to people signing on, talking about things in the meeting. Okay, she doesn't do live. She does 3 times per week previously recorded. Yeah, that's what I used to do, was the pre-recorded, but mine definitely were not weekly at all. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Oh, there's a piece of thread in there. Well, I think it's a neat way too to get to know each other. I mean, of course, people don't have to answer questions if they feel like it's too personal, like, oh, do you have grandkids and stuff like that. But I don't know. I like people. I think we all have fascinating stories, and especially quilters, we have stuff in common. We learn stuff from each other, which is nice. Now, my husband, he's pretty shy. I had to kind of twist his arm to get him to get in front of the camera when we first went live that first day. He's super sweet, but he's very introverted. And I'm much more extroverted. So when we go to town or go to the store, I'll talk to strangers. And he'd be like, why do you do that? Like, you just talk to strangers. I'm like, I don't know. I just strike up a conversation. Okay. How many times have I had to do this? I think maybe 3 times. So I'm going to have to look and see if I am doing something wrong with this dual feed, or like I said, I really don't want to use leaders and enders, and I shouldn't have to with the dual feed. So I'm not sure what is going on with that. I need to try my 80 weight thread, see if that makes any difference or not. Okay, let's get these turned the right direction now that I've done that. I wish I could help, but I am Juki clueless. I have that happen a lot on your Juki 2010, but Brenda, isn't the Juki 10 is not computerized? Like my Juki it's a Juki 2020 TL, and it's basically a 2010, but I never have that nesting happen on that machine. I've actually never had it ever happen before. So I don't know, now it's not doing it. When I rethread it, no problem. Like it doesn't do it when I rethread it. So I don't know what happens. It's kind of strange. I like the live chats. My circle is very limited and no one sews. You know what? I really don't have any sewing friends either. None my age. So friends my age, they're not into this for the most part. So a lot of my friends are older. I've always been kind of an old soul. I always had appreciation for those that are older than me. Usually the drama was over. They don't subscribe to drama. They're a lot wiser. They have a lot of good advice. They've got a lot of life experience. Not that people my age don't, but you know what I'm saying. I just have an appreciation for those that have been around longer than me. Y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and finish these last. I've got just this row and one more, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Oh, okay. I had another question for y'all too, while you're still here. You think it's the thread cutter that's causing problems? Well, the thing is, Brenda, is that it starts as I start sewing, like not when I'm cutting the thread. So I don't know. But I was going to ask another question. Oh, it's about prizes. So I can't afford to just, if I'm doing the prizes, do prizes every single time, especially if I'm doing this 3 times a week. But when I have sponsors, which I do have sponsors, I just felt like, because I don't want to take advantage of them sending me stuff, I felt like doing prizes once a week was reasonable rather than every week. So on other lives that you're on, do people do prizes every show or just every so often, or do they do it every week? I'm curious to know your experience with that. Like, I think it's fun to win things. I know Blaine, they do a lot of that. Of course, he's got, you know, a lot of stuff that he can give away, but I think it's kind of fun to do that. I felt bad when I did my first giveaway. I didn't think about international shipping. And the lady that won was from Scotland, and I was excited for her that she won. And I went ahead and mailed it to her, but in the future, I'm going to have to do, like, if someone international wins, they'll still, of course, win, but they'll have to pay for shipping. Because, man, some of these things to ship overseas, oh my goodness, they are expensive. So, prizes, tell me, y'all know anything about prizes? What a lot of people do that y'all watch? Okay, one more after this one. Hardly any giveaways, Lori. Really? Okay. Well, I thought if I have sponsors, I can do it once a week as long as I have sponsors. And my alphabet clips, those are, I'm really low on those. I'm waiting for my shipment to come in. I'm almost out. They're supposed to be here like the end of the month. And they were shipped before all this tariff stuff, but I don't know. I ordered extra to last me hopefully for this year. We'll see how that goes. But that's fun sometimes to pick once a month and keep it that way. Oh, Lori, you think I should just do it once a month? Okay. Well, and I was like, do people only show up for the prizes? Is that... Doesn't what? Okay. Prizes are not a big draw. Okay. Well, I wasn't really sure. You know, I was like, a lot of this is new. So thanks for all y'all's feedback. I told Chris, I was like, this is a testing month. I said, and people love to give their opinion. So I bet if I ask, people will tell me, you know, their honest opinion on stuff. Spur of the moment surprise. Okay, yeah. Well, you know, I had actually, so after my first live, y'all, I had one lady message me on YouTube to ask if I give away prizes every time. And I think she was asking because she's like, I think it was like if I did, she was going to come every time. And then I got to thinking, oh my goodness, do people mainly just come for prizes? But spur of the moment. So what I started announcing is that I plan to do a weekly giveaway if I have a sponsor, but I'm not going to announce necessarily the day of it. So, well, sometimes I have to. For example, ThermoWeb. When ThermoWeb did the Heat and Bond, which they'll be doing another giveaway, then of course I mentioned there was going to be a giveaway for that. So I have to do that. But that's good feedback, y'all. That is good feedback. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Laundry basket quilts. Free products. When you answer her questions correctly. Okay, that's good. Oh, and Brenda, okay, y'all. If you're on, give this video a thumbs up for me today. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. What else? Like, hit the bell, all the things. Hit the bell. I think that's really good. Bell, right? Fred Laugh with Belle. Okay. Well, I know you guys probably did all that. You don't need followers like that. Yeah, I don't. You know, I told Chris, I was like, I just am going to be me, and whoever wants to come, they say your tribe shows up, right? And just hang out. Especially if people are in their studios by themselves stitching. It seems like it can kind of be company for each other. I don't know. But that's the plan for Saturday Stitching, is just to hang out while I'm working on stuff. But the other two during the week are going to be usually where I'm showing something. So I mentioned the EPP I'm going to be doing Monday, and then Friday from the campsite. I'll be doing that. I'm also going to be teaching how to make chapstick holders, which I've got some over here, but I don't have one finished. The one I have is in my purse. They're actually these cute little chapstick holders that clip onto the inside of your purse, because I'm always digging for mine. So I'm going to show how to make that. But anyway, we are going to wrap up. Friends, thank y'all for hanging out with me for 2 hours. Brenda, Susan, Lori. Did I miss anybody? I think it was mainly the 3. Hey, Camilla, did you just come? Anybody else been hanging out? Some people maybe just staying behind the scenes and not chatting. Well, thank you so much. Oh, you like my window? It's all country out there for sure. These are curtains I made using doilies. So I just sewed all the doilies on there. And this is old vintage muslin I got at a yard sale. So those are Dutch blinds. I did watch a YouTube tutorial to make those, but thank you so much. Okay, I clicked the thumbs up button, but it didn't seem to take. Try later. Thanks so much, Susan. Well, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me on Stitchin Saturday. I'll be back Monday at 7, and I'm going to be cutting leave-in papers for AccuQuilt to prepare for an EPP class. If you want to go with me when I'm camping, I'll be back on Friday at 1 o'clock from the campgrounds. Greetings from South Africa. Welcome. We'll come back again, Camilla. I'll be here at 7 Central Standard Time. Hey, PJ, you were hanging out? Oh, good. Y'all are so sweet. Oh, y'all came back. Okay, I must be doing something right. We'll have a great, no problem if you're an introvert here. I'm just glad you're here. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll see you guys. If you're here, I'll see you on Monday at 7. And until next time, quilty friends, make lovely things.